Assalamu alaikum. Masa al khair. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another Let's Talk session with Zayed University valued alumni to showcase their successful career stories with all of you. Always a pleasure to see another alumni on the comments supporting our guest speaker for tonight and supporting Let's Talk initiative. It's also even better when we see people tuning in for every session. This encourages us to keep going with Let's Talk. That first of all benefits all of you, as well as supports our alumni, our main stakeholders for Let's Talk. Wa alaikum salam wa rahma. Good evening. Masa al khair. As always, we'll give it a few more minutes before we start. For everyone who switched on the countdown or the tune in for Let's Talk for today's or tonight's session. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. This session will be in English as announced previously. Today's or tonight's Let's Talk session is with Zayed University alumni of cohort 2008, a graduate of the College of Communications and Media Sciences. Today's graduate from a very different sector or from a very different perspective, moving from the communications and media sciences to counseling. Today's valued alumni for tonight's Let's Talk is Khawla Ahmed Hamad, Zayed University alumni of 2008, and the CEO and founder of Takalam counseling platform or online counseling. It's a pleasure to have her here and to understand the move of the two different sectors and also to better know Takalam. And this is what our tonight's session is named behind, Takalam for your mental health, aligning it with the October month of mental health and the month of health in general. We welcome Khawla. Assalamu alaikum Khawla and welcome on Let's Talk.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you very much, and I am honored to be with you tonight, and it's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Khawla, before we start and talk about Takalam, we would like to know Khawla more. So could you please kindly introduce yourself?
So my name is Khawla Hamad, and I, like you said, and I graduated from Zayed University with a bachelor's in communications and media. And I had several positions in several government entities, including the Emirates Foundation, 2454, and then I moved to Washington, D.C. to get my master's degree in international business from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. After moving back here, I took a couple of months and then I decided to go back into the employment or go back to my career path. And at that point, I started interviewing. I started seeking several entities that I was interested in. And I thought they might be aligned with what Khawla likes to achieve or the objectives of the company, and I would fit well within. So I had interviews and I had a couple of offers. And at that point, I wanted to make a decision. My decision was whether to go forward with another employment opportunity to be part of an organization and just keep going in this cycle again, or this is the time to take a different approach and take a risk, take a leap of faith, and try to do something that I've always been passionate about and something that I always wanted to do, which is starting my own business, starting a venture that will create a social impact and will benefit the community. And at that point, I decided to start Takalam. It's an online counseling platform, and Takalam basically is a connector between mental health professionals and organizations as well as individuals through a digital experience that will enhance and increase accessibility to mental health services and address the stigma at the same time.
Thank you, Khawla. When we talk about create your own business, usually fresh graduates or young youth would think of something more in terms of shopping. We see now trending in the entrepreneurship market, business like abaya boutiques, cafes, specialty coffee, and so on. But when we talk about entrepreneurship, when it comes to counseling, that's a very unique approach which people don't usually gravitate towards. What was the idea behind Kalam, or when did you feel like we need a counseling or online platform of such a thing?
A very good question. So the idea is not for me is not really the counseling part. So when we try to introduce Takalam is a technology at the end of the day. So it's a tech startup, but our focus or the domain that we're in happens to be in mental well-being. And for that, I wanted also to touch on the social impact aspect and create a difference and kind of support our community and creating an accessible platform for mental well-being. Going back to why or how did I end up in this specific field, knowing that I am no counselor, I have no background in counseling, and I was, a communications and media student. I had different career direction, and it was mainly in business. So I am not really the person for this kind of domain. However, I am part of the community. I am a user. I am a client. So I was going through personal experience and where I was going through a lot of stress, and I wanted to learn ways to cope with my stress and find different strategies to kind of react to certain situations. And at that point, I was like, why is it inconvenient for someone to try and seek those services? Why does he have or she has to go through the inconvenience of finding a person, the inconvenience of even driving to a place and coming back, and finding the time within our busy schedules nowadays is not something that we have the luxury to do. So on that basis, I thought that this should be much easier for someone to access. And this is where the online counseling came into the picture. Having something convenient, you can do it from the comfort of your own home at your own time. And it is more important than that, it is affordable. A lot of people don't have health insurances to cover for mental health services. So they end up paying a huge amount only for one session. So if you want to look at how counseling works and how to get the optimal results out of it, it needs to be consistent. So it needs to happen over time. And this is not, it's a big investment for people having enough of the stigma associated with it and the lack of awareness. On top of it, you tell everyone that you have to invest this amount of money. So mental well-being goes at the bottom of the list. We try to push it up by making it affordable, by making it accessible, by creating awareness around it. There is a lack of guidance at the same time. So for someone who wants to explore this area, where should I start? Who do I see? What are the different areas in counseling? There's someone that deals with stress. There's someone that deals with depression. So there are different areas, and find a person that I can connect with, because 50% of the counseling is you connecting with the counselor. So the chemistry has to click. And given variety of options and one platform, we thought that would solve many issues and will hopefully create a difference in people's lives.
Wonderful. A very deep thoughts has went into Takalam to in the formation stage or in the ideation stage. Before I go into the stigma, which we all know that it's very sensitive and not easy to break or come out with, I'll ask you what made a media and communications student go to such a sector, and how did your certification help you in that, especially that you're also certified in your masters and other certifications in marketing as well as international relations, so it's really nothing to do with psychology.
Definitely, but I have all the other aspects that supports me in creating a venture. So all the basic skills that are going to help me start technology and a business that could enhance this specific domain. So I had to obviously learn a lot about mental well-being, the different stakeholders, the processes, understanding the profession itself, to be able to just carry on a conversation with a psychologist when I talk to one. So that was the first part, or the first homework I had to do. And then the second one, obviously I'm not the expert. So here, where you look at people from this field and try to get their expertise, try to learn from them. Obviously, this is not something that I could do on my own, or anyone can do on their own. They have to be aligned with several health authorities, with having advisors on board to from this field to kind of direct and put things into perspective, having assessments done. So there's a lot of technical and expert advice that we needed, and luckily we were able to get that. So going back to your question, how did my degree from the EU help me with that? So choosing communications and media, honestly, that happened without much thinking. I just attended the information session about the major, and I was sold. I was like, this is what I want to do. Although at that point, I was completely a different person. I did not have an outgoing personality. So having gone through the media and communications program, it gave me a complete boost in confidence. It equipped me with a lot of skills. I had to practice different settings of interviewing people, interacting with people, and networking. The number one skill that I am here where I am because of the networking skill, and this is extremely important. So being able to network, build relationships, have a contact database of people that one time you might need to speak to. So contacts are the biggest asset, in my opinion, for a person to succeed in whatever they're doing. So through this skill, I was able to connect with the right people. I was able to connect with the right entities, the right authorities. So it's kind of just connecting the dots and trying to come up with a solution that will work best for everyone.
Since you spoke about your memories back in Zio, were any of the faculty helped or participated in making Khawla, the Khawla we know today?
Honestly, there was one in specific. Her name is Dr. Alma Kudrajic, if I'm not mistaken, her last name. And she was our PR professor. and she pushed me like no other. She gave me a lot of PR work that I had to go out of my comfort zone, reach out to people outside the university and build those relationships and create contacts and talk externally. And with her help, obviously, she had organized different trips to major media companies, including the CNN, BBC, and London. So she had brought a lot of knowledge with her, and she brought the best out of Khawla as well.
Wonderful. Since you are a lady who went through working in the private sector, public sector, and now an entrepreneur yourself, do you think with all of the experience you have, was it the skills that equipped you to leap forward, or was it the certificate or the major you chose?
Honestly, it was a combination of everything, like having the skills through experience, having the education, having the opportunity, because Dide University gave a lot of opportunities to us, and me in specific. I mean, like we were given so much, like doors were opened for us. We were kind of in the center of the attention. So you don't usually find this anywhere else. And having that kind of, yani, we were spoiled, you know. So it was a lot of fun going through that experience. A lot of opportunities came out of Zayed University until this day. I am part of, like, I have a startup, and now I'm back into Zayed University as a member of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center that Zayed University have set up. So my startup is now with Zayed University. So it's my home, my second home, and it's always welcoming. And look at you, Hind, reaching out to all the alumni, trying to connect with them and still talking to them. So there is no, I honestly believe there is no other educational institute that would go above and beyond to create such a platform for their students and alumni.
We're very pleased and honored to have all of you. And in the end, you are the fruits of Zayed University. Um, Going back to Takalam, and before talking about the stigma, we would like to know what makes Takalam trustworthy. Why should I go to Takalam and express myself out?
So the idea is to kind of tackle the mental health topic in a different approach. So when you say mental health, there is completely, like, right away people go into a negative thought because of the way it's been, done in the past, the way it's perceived. It's not something that's been highlighted in our community or in our lives. So the idea is to present something that is more of an approachable platform, disassociating this with clinics, with hospitals, with doctors. So you're not sick, you're not ill. For you to achieve the best of you as a person, there are techniques, there are skills that you can learn from counseling. So you're not mentally ill, but you are looking at your well-being as a holistic approach. So as you're looking at your physical well-being, also mental well-being is as important. So we wanted to position it this way and make it more approachable and appealing to individuals to seek help. And a lot of the time, yani, you will notice people don't like to open up. And if they do, they go to a friend or a family member. They might not be the expert in giving those advices. So having an expert's opinion, having a professional to guide them through difficult situations with certain skills, certain steps, I think would be beneficial for everyone. So Takalam is a safe place, as we promote it, is a very private place. It's not you going publicly to see a counselor or seek help. You are in your own home in a private place, and we use trustworthy partners, and we select the technologies very carefully to make sure that privacy is the most important thing to the user and to us as well. So we go by the rules and the regulations of the authorities, and keeping in mind all the the sensitivities when it comes to individuals personal information, and to be able to have their trust for Takalam.
And so you have within the team of psychologists a number of I would say confidential or trustworthy technologies and psychologist team that deal one to one with these situations.
Yeah, so the within our team personally, 50% of, first of all, 50% of our team is you graduates, which is something we're very proud of. And our psychology team members are just basically, they guide us through the process and they guide us in the field itself. They don't offer counseling directly on the platform. However, they go through the vetting process of making sure that the counselors we onboard are within the requirements of the health authorities in the UAE and are qualified enough with the right education, with the right experience, with the right even personality, because it's a lot of it is communication. So making sure like all these things are into place before we bring on board any counselor that we present to the individuals.
Khawla, to Takalam as a platform, is mental health or mental issues, is the major mental issues which we have been introduced to through movies and TV series, the serious one, like the very high level of depressions, breakdowns, or it
Yeah.
can be ones of stress of everyday work and so on.
Yeah, and this is very good question, Hind, because this is the misperception that we've had all our lives. If you think about it, when you say mental health, oh, this person is crazy, this person is psycho, this person is, so it's something negative, and it's not, again, it's not mental illness, it's mental well-being. So luckily, yani, the situation we're going through with the COVID and the lockdown, it's an unfortunate situation, but in a way, it was positive because it shed a lot of light on the mental well-being aspect. A lot of people were going through an anxiety, a lot of people were going through depression, fear of uncertainty in this period of time is just scary for a lot of people. So if you notice, you will see our government has been proactive and launching all these campaigns, all these initiatives, helplines to promote mental health support. So it's something very, very important at this time, and moving forward, even inshallah, after the pandemic, it's still the aftermath is going to be there for a long time as we move forward out of the situation we're in now. So it's, again, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of negative ideas that we had about it. And like you said, it could be something as simple as me not knowing how to handle the stresses of a daily life stresses, and not being able to cope with it because I just don't know certain techniques how to deal with it. Those techniques could be something as simple as exercising for half an hour a day. It could be something as simple as writing a journal. So it's nothing to do with, being sick or you being a patient. It has nothing to do with that. And this is the stigma part, and what we are trying to change as part of our outreach and awareness initiatives.
Do you see this stigma improving a little or shedding the light on its awareness during the COVID-19 situation?
Yes, yes, definitely, 100%. Like I said, now it's been highlighted more than ever. And you see it, and people are starting to accept it because you see what everyone is going through. This time had, yani, the pandemic caught us all off guard. We were not prepared for this mentally, psychologically, and for a lot of people financially. So a lot of people lost their jobs, they lost their loved ones, they lost the feeling of life. Yani, with the lockdown, with especially like no schools, and parents working from home, dealing with the stress of work and with the homeschooling, and so it's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And if we don't deal with it the right way, it's gonna end up with a lot of negative results. And thankfully, we live, يعني, in an era where, now you can be anywhere and you can connect with anyone. Technology is there to enhance and increase accessibility. So we have this, so why not utilize it? And like I said, the initiatives that have been set up by the government. And Ramadan, if you remember the campaign La Chillunham, it basically talked about different issues or different um, mental health matters to the community on a daily basis. There are helplines that are set up, and the most group at the moment that are at risk are frontline workers. So healthcare workers going through the burnout, going through the trauma of dealing with what they're dealing with, is going to be those are going to be at the highest risk of dealing with the post-traumatic stress disorder after the pandemic is over. And for this reason, we have a project at the moment that's been running for about a month and a half, and it's basically the platform is offered to frontline workers in the UAE.
Wonderful, great initiative and support. If I quote you on something you said that it truly got highlighted, which is mental well-being, it's not mental illness. When does this awareness start? At what age? Does it start in early ages or is it only when we face life?
Honestly, it should be at early ages. It should be something that's taught in schools. Like, I don't see why this is not just like teaching kids physical health. There should be a way to teach kids how to deal with their emotions, how to control their emotions. Different skills, different techniques. Those are life skills that we need more than just memorizing textbooks or learning, technical skills. So those are important life skills that we all require. And yeah, I mean, it's something that always should be in check. Not only when a person is going through a hard time should seek out for help. The experts actually recommend having this on a regular basis, just how you go for your annual physical checkup, you go for an annual mental health checkup. So it's nothing to, like, you're not sick, you're not ill, you're just making sure you're in the right place, in the right state of mind, and mentally and psychologically supported to be the best version of yourself.
I truly like this annual checkup. It's true. At many times, out of stress, even back in schooling, I remember when we study overnight and submit with assignments and deadline, we need something to fuel out then we can recharge and begin again, which we didn't understand that we needed to do this way. Um, what does Takalam online counseling platform offers other than what you have mentioned? Does it offer recorded sessions maybe to check in whenever a person wants? What are the different services?
So the different services other than online counseling, where you go on the platform, you find the counselor that basically matches your criteria by gender, by language, by speciality. So after choosing the counselor and having your session, there's obviously other things that I can do on the platform. So content creation is a big part of what we do. Having a one-stop solution, a place that has kind of it's centralized with everything that a person needs in one place. So content and educational pieces that are on the platform. There'll be like several tests that people can take just for the sake of checking in, knowing like how they feel and if they need to take an action. There will be certain features that are very cool for maintaining and tracking how a person is progressing over time. So there's like a mood tracker. So there are a lot of nice features that everyone can utilize, and we hope that it's beneficial to everyone throughout their journey of seeking mental well-being.
Wonderful. I think it's one of those platforms that the market needed for a very long time, but it's launching exactly on spot on the very critical time that people are more aware of and needed it the most. I'm adding the Takalam online counseling link in the chat for people to get into and explore it more. Um, Khawla, so we can say that Takalam is a 24 hours counseling friend, I would say.
It's a 24 hours counseling platform. However, that depends obviously on the counselor, right? So the counselor have full control of his or her schedule. So they can plug in the timing they're available, and this could be at any time. It's not within working hours kind of schedule, like with all most of the centers or clinics where you go to. You have to visit us between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. No, that's way more flexible, and the idea is to make it convenient for individuals at their own time and from their own place.
But also, if the counselor is not available on the time a person checks in, there's other features to check on her health.
Definitely. So whoever is available at that moment, you can just directly make a call with. And whoever that is not available and you are interested in talking to, you can schedule a session on the platform. So you go on there and book a session, choose the date, the time that suits you, and you're all set.
Truly looking forward to explore it more because it's very easy. It gives you the confidentiality that you need, and again, um, from the comfort of your home. So even a teenager can log in. A parent's permission is not really very much required here.
Well, actually, we tend to kind of disagree with that because it has to be like the platform is offered to individuals who are above 18 years old. However, the most vulnerable group is the teenagers. So we have that option with the permission of the parents, and this is something that should be encouraged because the parents could bring this up to their kids and show them how private it is. How kids, they like to text, they don't like to talk, they don't like to see it. Like most of the time you see them texting. So giving an option to text with a counselor rather than talk to them in person or even talk to them on the camera. You can just text them. And this increases the chances of seeking help. So having the different methods of communication, including audio calls, video calls, text messaging, will cater to all type of personalities, all type of preferences. So that's why we try to make it as personalized as possible by giving the power of choice to the user and the individuals themselves.
Very nice that the different generations are considered, specifically the Z generation. Um, a little away from Takalam, talking about Khawla as a founder and a CEO and an entrepreneur at the end of the day. Um, how was it easy? I wouldn't say difficult, is to step out of your comfort zone and your regular job into the doors of entrepreneurship as they promote being your own boss, but yet you drag a lot of risks with that.
Definitely, and it's not difficult, but it's not easy. So it's like when you see all when you see the results and you see the impact and the outcome of what you've been working on, and you see things are coming together. This is where you feel the satisfaction of starting this in the first place. So it was completely out of my comfort zone, obviously, but I had always wanted to do something on my own for many reasons, to be creative enough, to be flexible enough, to think out of the box, not having to go through several approval processes. My creativity is limited in a place. I wanted to be completely free to explore and be creative and innovate as I like. And that was one of the main reasons. Second reason, I wanted to create a social impact, and I really I love roles that has to do something with the community. And I had worked previously with similar roles. So giving that opportunity throughout this venture has been very, very rewarding, and it's kind of it motivates me towards achieving and making more. So that's very important, and trying to change even if it was like a tiny bit of a percentage of someone's life, or I hope it's a big percent. This feeling of again of the rewarding feeling that I get is invaluable, and it's fun. To be honest with you, it is crazy, but it's very addictive, and it's so much fun going through the learning experience, because you're not stuck in one role to utilize certain skill set that you've been working on for the past God knows how many years. As an entrepreneur, you're going to be good at finance, you're going to be good at legal, you're going to be good at design. You're going to have to get a little bit of each area. Obviously, you're not going to be an expert in all, but you're going to have to learn the basics of each area to be able to direct and manage those who are creating the programs or the projects for you. So it's not an easy journey, but it's very, very rewarding, and it's so much fun if you are passionate about what you're doing, and if you have a good cause behind it. It will make it much more easier and enjoyable at the same time.
We know today that the SMEs, specifically in the city or the Emirate of Dubai, counts more than 58% of people employed. So it's a very huge sector, and it's very important for not only individuals but also the community as well, the economy of the country. You're participating in a very huge number, and you're definitely adding value also from society perspective. Um, I'm sure that a lot of Zayed University alumni or even students or fresh graduates are interested in entrepreneurship. What were the main challenges you have faced during your journey, and what would the best advice you wished someone gave you before starting Takalam?
Okay, so there's obviously a lot of challenges. It's something you're starting from scratch. You don't know where to begin. You don't know how to go about it. You don't know who to talk to. So that was the biggest challenge. It's just defining the idea and bringing it together. So the first advice that I would actually give is to find a partner who can complement you, and who clicks with you and personality, and together you can join forces and make this happen more effectively and faster in a way. It's a very lonely journey, so you're not reporting to anyone. You don't have someone to check in with. You don't have someone to tell you whether what you're doing is right or wrong. This is where you start reaching out to mentors, reaching out to advisors, reaching out to those who have an expertise and the areas you're looking for. And like 80%, 90% of the time, people love to share their knowledge. And if you seek out for an advice, even on LinkedIn, you message someone with a great profile, tell them I need certain advice in this area. People usually would love to share their experiences and offer support. Having said that, there are many programs and initiatives that makes things easier rather than you starting on your own and trying to figure everything out. Joining an incubator or a business accelerator is the best approach, because luckily in the UAE we have this offered and it's easily accessible. Elsewhere, it's not as easy and you have to struggle to get to it. And yeah, I mean, like, here is just given to you on a silver plate, where people are just like, here is what we can support you with. Just come up with creative ideas, innovative ideas that would benefit and that are obviously financially viable, and we will support you throughout. You have many government initiatives and even private, and a lot of incubators that would support entrepreneurs even from the moment they have just an idea, and try to bring this idea to life and implement it and take them by the hand to guide them throughout the process. And this is what I've been seeing very, very nicely done with the Zayed University Business Startup Incubator that's led by Dr. Wasim Abaza, who is one of our biggest supporters and a big believer in us from day one. And he has he's been adding major value to us and getting to wherever we got to at the moment.
Thank you so much, Khawla. It was a pleasure having you tonight on Let's Talk. Very valuable talk and a very valuable initiative or startup that we all look forward to explore more and benefit, because it's really very convenient and it's really something we have been missing in the market. As always, before I end my Let's Talk sessions, I always ask the guest speaker to describe Zayed University's journey in one word, or Zayed University in general.
Zayed University in one word: opportunity.
Wow. We have not been described in the previous sessions with this word. Thank you so much, Khawla. It was truly an pleasure to meet you and to have you here on Let's Talk. All the best, and inshallah we see Takalam online counseling platform booming, hopefully.
Inshallah. Thank you very much again, Hind. I appreciate the opportunity, and it's an honor to be with you, and wishing you and the Zayed University community all the best.
يعطيك العافية. Thank you so much. Let's Talk community, the professional community out there that tunes in for Let's Talk every session. First of all, thank you so much for your time and support. We're very honored in every session to welcome another successful Zayed University alumni to share her or his success story and to share the different opportunities they're offering for the society here on Let's Talk platform. We believe, we're a very strong believer that the relationship of our students and alumni does not end after graduation. It's an ongoing journey and ongoing support. They support us at many times and we support them back. Thank you again for joining. As always, your feedbacks and engagements allows us to get going. You can reach us easily on all social media platforms, starting from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn here or YouTube, and definitely our generic email alumni@zu.ac.a. Please stay tuned for our next Let's Talk session, and please make sure you check out on Khawla's Takalam online counseling platform. We look forward to see you with more beneficial sessions and more informations to be given. Enjoy the long weekend, as they say, and ma salama until we meet in November.